good to see this sign is still just as raw in the N64 version. Hello humans and animals alike, this is Dylus, and welcome back to Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko. This time we're in the N64 version of this game, as you can see with the low resolution textures here. But yeah, the reason I'm going through the N64 version of this game is that the Mythology level in the N64 version is actually different from the one in the PS1 version. So why don't we check it out?
It's tail time!
So whereas the PS1 version had unsolved myth stories, we now have in the N64 version Gecko. So yeah, this is the only alternate main level in Gex 3 that made it in the final cut, but I'll talk about that a little more later on. For now, our first mission is going to be licking my way to the top. Nice Gex 2 reference, if that was intentional.
What a movie!
Alright, so yeah, here we are. This is Gecko, the alternate mythology level. So, first off, there is a bonus coin up here that could be a little tricky to get, but one way you can get it is to tail bounce on this corner and just jump on over here. Easy peasy. It is probably not the intended way to get that, but that's how I've always done it. There is another way that would probably be more intended. But in the meantime, we can dress up as Hercules here to... When we step on that platform, that's how we transform. We can break those, we can break the rubble there, as well as leveling out these columns. Or are they pillars? Are they columns or pillars? It's all Greek to me. Alright, these little soldiers we have to tail bounce, because if we tail whip them, they're just going to be knocked back. Let's see what Alfred has to say here.
Jump towards the target to grab hold, sir. Then press jump again to let go and swing yourself across the gorge.
So, the target he's talking about is, this, like, orb thing here. When we jump towards it, Gex swings around with his tongue, which is, quite amazing. Surprised that doesn't even hurt. But then again, I guess he's done a lot of tongue lashing in his younger days. Anyhow, that tongue swing is actually advertised as a new move in the back of the N64 box. But, well, that's because this only applies to this level, which is exclusive to the N64 version, of course. Let's hit the checkpoint and see what Alfred has to say here.
Sir, I can see the tail whipping the Windurn will activate the Soul Geyser. I believe you can use it as a shortcut.
Yeah, the Windurn is this. And just so you know, that is my first time that I have heard somebody pronounce it geyser instead of geyser. It sounds weird when the British say it. It's like, my, old geezer, why don't we go have a spot of tea? I don't know. Chugga already made that joke. I'm kind of just stealing it. Anyway, a view to Achilles. Let's swing on over. And while we're here, we'll break this Windurn in case we mess up. Alright. So, while we're here, if we look down, that is where the bonus coin was that I had collected. You karate kick over in that direction, and that's likely the intended way you're supposed to get that bonus coin, but I didn't do it that way. Let's swing on over here, and then get our paw coin. And there's our first remote, which took significantly less time than doing the first mission for Unsolved Myth Stories. And while I'm right on this screen, this is actually really helpful. I never mentioned this, and I will mention it now. In the N64 version, whenever you beat a mission, the game will ask if you want to save your game. This was the case in Enter the Gecko as well, but for some reason, that is not what happens in the PS1 version of Gex 3. And so after you've done yourself some missions, you probably got used to just, you know, saving your game right after a mission. And when you realize that didn't actually happen, yeah, frustration ensues.
I think I'm getting close.
So, yeah, if you're playing the PS1 version, I probably should have said this long ago, but maybe you tried it out already anyway, just in case. Hopefully you're careful, but you're supposed to pause the game and then hit save game in order to actually save your game. So, imagine that you have done, like, the PS1 Mythology level, and then, after who knows how long trying to get all of those remotes, or heck, maybe even a single remote, you turn off your game, you realize you forgot to save, because that's not what you're used to, and then... That hasn't happened to me, but I can imagine it happening to somebody else. I am thankful that I have been playing this game on an emulator that automatically saves state when I am done playing. But yeah, I can imagine that happening to somebody else, and to those who had that experience, you have my deepest condolences. Anyway, after explaining all that, onto our mission objective. That is to break 5 urns. And that doesn't include the wind urns. We're talking about these lovely decorated urns with our faces on it. Alright. So, yeah, just to demonstrate, they get knocked back because, well, their helmets are basically covering their entire body. Alright, we go down here. Let's see. That's the TV that we're gonna go to soon enough. River Styx. The N64 version still has some cool background gags, as you have seen already. Alright, so we break down those columns, and we carefully do some platforming here. We're gonna go over this way, and we're gonna spin this thing around, and now we got ourselves a seesaw. I'm just gonna let that run out so nothing screws up.
My tail doesn't like you. How do you like me now?
You go squish. There's another urn broken. And while I'm on the seesaw, there's actually a bit of a... I want to say it's a glitch, but it's a strange oddity nevertheless. When I'm on the center of the seesaw, listen. for some reason, when you stand on the center...
Clothes feel so good on my leather-like skin.
When you stand on the center of the seesaw, for some reason, it very quietly, uses the clip of Gex saying, "Hark, hark, hark, hark!" And, I don't know why that is. It has to be some sort of strange bug or something. It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyhow, there's our second remote. And let us save our game here. And let's go in.
Get it on.
We'll be doing the 100 fly coin mission, and while we're doing that, we are going to survive the ogre's cave. So, we're going to be retreading some ground for the 100 fly coin mission, so while I'm doing that, I'm going to talk about something.
What a movie.
Okay, first off, did you see how Gex was talking? In the N64 version, the lip syncing with all the voice clips is broken for some reason. Enter the Gecko didn't have a problem with it, but the N64 version of Deep Cover Gecko kind of just has that oddity. I don't want to say it's limitations either, because the Crystal Engine, which this game is designed on, that is kind of just one of its quirks, that it does a lip-syncing thing for whenever audio is played for Gex, and it would be the same for Alfred as well, but lip-syncing on him is broken as well. It's something that kind of bothers me in the N64 version, but other than that, it's actually debatable whether or not the N64 version might actually be superior to the PS1 version.
Milton Berle's the name, Pumpin's my game.
This might be a controversial opinion, but I'm sure for some people, and in a way, I'm kind of like this too, but I actually kind of prefer the N64 version of Deep Cover Gecko. And let me explain why. So, first off, Gex is nowhere near as loquacious as he was in the PS1 version. It just felt very odd to me just how much he tends to talk in the levels, and nobody really caught on as to how annoying that might be. It could be a sign that the game just was a little on the rush side, so a thing that someone might do is that in order for Gex to say as many different lines as possible, the loquaciousness would have to be turned up a little bit. So that's one thing. The second thing, I've mentioned the save feature, but there are also some other quality of life improvements, such as a beginner mode, for one, for anybody who, like, struggles with any of the bonus levels, though that's alright. Let's see. Another quality of life thing is, I'm tilting the analog stick, and notice I'm actually going in, like, more than just 8 directions. But only if I'm walking. If I'm running, I'm locked to 8 directions. But the point is, this game actually has analog control. I can go in more than just 8 directions, and that is huge to me. I would have liked it if, you know, I had full, complete analog control while I was running, but this is a step up, so for careful platforming, it's better. So there's that. Number 3 might be a little bit subjective, but I don't mind it either way, but some people might actually have a problem with how thirsty Gex is with Agent Xtra. Like, those conversations that are had between, like, missions, you're either the kind of person who finds them mildly amusing or just downright cringe. So, the N64 version, as a side effect for being targeted for younger audiences, has less of that. The only problem is, though, that, whenever they do have a conversation, you're back to mission control. So it's going to be a bit of a hike back to the level that you had just completed. So that's kind of a bummer, but other than that, depending on the kind of person you are, you might find that a relief. And, frankly, I know some people, well, no, I'm sure, like, most of the Gex community will agree that the N64 version of Enter the Gecko is very much inferior, and yeah, that is because there's a lot taken out, from gags to quotes to entire levels, not to mention the overall pointlessness of getting anything other than the red remotes. Because, you know, the gold remotes actually do absolutely nothing. Oh yeah, those fly coins down there. Let's go down here and carefully walk along there. But anyway, Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko on the N64 actually does a pretty good job of retaining a lot of things from the PS1 original. Let me get that pig. I probably should get this one too. So because of that, if there's anybody who, like, who asks if they should play the PS1 or N64 version, I'm actually very comfortable saying either one. I personally prefer the N64 version, but the PS1 version is kind of supposed to be the more complete version anyway. But the N64 version does a good enough job at, like, bringing the essential stuff over onto a more limited piece of hardware. So, oh yeah, there is also one last thing that I would prefer the N64 version over the PS1 version, and that is basically what we're playing right now, the Mythology level. Any Gex 3 player who played the PS1 version will tell you that Unsolved Myth Stories is the worst level in the game. Probably second worst, but, like, most people will say it is the worst, because it is very long, it is very hard, it's very frustrating. Hey, just like a cocktail. But anyway, yeah, the enemies are annoying, the stage design is annoying, it's very easy to fall off, and the platforming is ball-bustingly hard. It's, to any, like, non-seasoned gamer, it's a miserable experience. And given the pattern with all the changes from PS1 to N64 with targeting a younger demographic, the younger audience would not like the Unsolved Myth Stories. This is why I believe that even though they had other alternatives to put in for Fairy Tales TV and Western Station, They decided that they would just skip out on those because they weren't really necessary, but the mythology level was absolutely necessary because they knew they f***ed up. So, yeah, that's my opinion on this. I'm not sure if that's actually the reason for this. This is just based on speculation and pattern recognition. Unless we hear it straight from the dev team's mouth, we won't really know for sure. So anyway, after saying all that, it's time to infiltrate the ogre's cave. Now, I originally thought you had to be Hercules Gex or Herky-Gex to take care of these one-eyed ogres. But no, you don't have to. You can take them out just fine with your regular Spartan costume. Alright, this... Oh, nuts, I fell. Camera... It would be nice if I could see... Sheesh. Unfortunately, the camera is still a little bit bad in the N64 version. That said, though, I have noticed that in the N64 version, the camera moves faster when you hold the, well, C buttons in this case. And it actually makes it easier to platform for me. So there's another very small quality of life improvement. All this small stuff adds up to make the game even more enjoyable, you know?
You never knock me down.
Now, if only Enter the Gecko had all that, but the the PS1 version of Enter the Gecko is fine as it is, in my opinion. Ah, and there is our 100th Paw coin. Or 125th if we're going across everything. Oh yeah, and when you get a set of 25, when you complete a set, as you saw, you regain all your health back, so that's really nice. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Oh, missed one. Let's go back and get it. And now for you. 1, 2, 3. Good night. And there's our last remote. We just gotta get the few remaining fly coins, and there are 2 in the back of, in between these pillars here, so that's very sneaky. But I am missing 1 fly coin. I probably missed a pig somewhere while I was blabbering on about version differences and my preferences, so I guess I'll just be right back until I find out where it is. Aha! Found the pig. Alright, there we go. There's our 100 fly coin remote, and now it's time to get out of here.
Lock and load, little lizard.
And we are finished. Let us save our game, and we are done here. Although, I suppose if you decided to skip out on the other main episode 10 for the PS1 version. Oops, I totally missed. I might as well do the bonus round here as well.
Let's get it on.
So, this is Marsupial Madness. Oh yeah, sometimes in the N64 version, Gex actually has a sort of intro quote, but it's not that common. Instead of, you know, the announcer saying, "It's bonus time." Before I say anything else, if you want to trigger a secret bonus, not secret bonus cube, like a spinning cube, go on top of those two branches and jump on that mushroom. Oh yeah, I guess that's another thing about the N64 version. You don't have to be annoyed by the announcer constantly telling you to hurry, that time is running out, even though, well, you have plenty of time already. I mean, that part's not really that big of a deal, but I do find it a little annoying that it happens, you know, anytime, even if you have plenty of it. Anyway, after hitting those 3 triggers down at the start of the stage, you step on this mushroom, and there's the spinning cube. Yes, it is in the N64 version as well. Alright, let's ring the rest of these bells. And we are done. They also properly added the number 10 instead of the 0. Alright, and with that, that is all for this alternate episode of Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko. Next time, we will be going into the Beanstalk. So, with all that said, thank you for watching. This is Stylus signing off. See you next time.